Get it ready, boys.
Oh, we're ready. I have a request. I should have told Ryan this before we started the show, but I forgot. I was distracted by other things. Do you have the Sam caffeine tea drop? Because I woke up this morning before you hit the drop, and it didn't take, right? The sleep wasn't great. It was too short, but even the amount I'm fine. I'm here. But one coffee, which I'm not a big coffee drinker, wasn't enough. So this is a 2 coffee day. But Sam,
I only did a single tea bag tonight, Owen. No double tea bag action. So
he volunteered that on the air, lads. I love it. Let's start the show. We'll bring Sam on pregame. What a way to start. This is the DLLS Stars Pregame Show as we get you ready for the Dallas Stars and the Boston Bruins tonight at the AAC. Alongside Craig Ludwig and our producer Ryan Vaughters, I'm Owen Newkirk. Sam Nestler joins us from the AAC. Before we go to Sam, however, Ryan is wearing the brand new Finnish Mafia hoodie tonight in studio that we were generously gifted from our very own sports guy, T.O. I mean, what a booster. He is the number one diehard in all of our minds right now. As sports guy T.O. says in the chat right now, the people's champ. You can get yours by going to alldls.com. Diehards get 20% off. Luds, it's super soft. Very, very comfortable.
Let me tell you how soft it is. It was so soft at about 3:45 this morning, I still had it on in bed.
You don't sleep, do you?
No, I still had it on in bed.
Because it was that comfortable.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
So get yours today. We love it. All right, Sam.
Wait, let me ask Sam a question.
Oh, please.
Sam, I'm going to ask you a question. I'll ask Owen the same thing. When I see that open and you have Swayman and Jake up there.
Yep.
Do you think it feels like Jake has to keep proving himself to when he plays against Hellebuck because he's supposed to be the starter? To now against Swayman, who's supposed to be number 3, but there's talk about the other 2 aren't playing well, that he might have to prove it again?
I don't
think that's fair to Jake.
Aren't they trying to prove themselves every single night?
I don't know. I just feel like Jake is stuck in the middle because you're trying to knock off the guy that everybody says, regardless of how he's playing, he's going to start. So I got to prove myself that I'm as good as him as I can start. Now, there's this other guy that's playing probably better than both of those guys.
At the moment, yes.
At the moment. Well, that's all that really matters is the moment. So I just was curious about that. What do you think, Sam?
I think welcome to the best country in the world for goaltending. That's what you do to be one of the best and play for one of the best. If you want to not compare yourself, go play for Canada because they could use any goaltender in the world at the moment. So I think for Jake, keep proving it.
I'm going to sound people that are look, I very much am cheering for USA Hockey, but I was reading something this morning, Luds, about the Russian potential team that they can't play it.
Yep.
Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Sorokin, and you don't have room for Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well, there
saying,
would be because Shesterkin's done or out. So he would actually be able to play.
But that's the golden age of Russian goaltending. They're not eligible to play in the Olympics this year.
The way Bob is going now, he may be in jail though. He's fighting quite a bit now, so he might end up being.
That was entertaining last night.
Yeah, that was
wasn't
entertainment.
It?
Yeah, goalies are entertaining.
I love that. Sam, as a goalie yourself, you must have loved watching Nedeljkovic and Bobrovsky throw haymakers at each other.
Yeah, especially because I think Bob's tried to do that a few times, right? He's been the one kind of skating over to center ice. I think he tried to do it in the playoffs a couple of years ago on their run to the cup where he just kind of skates to the center ice. He stands there, is trying to do it, and no one ever went. So I love that they tried it, although it was a horrendous fight. But at that point, who really cares? Just do it.
Goalie fights are never good. It's like watching two elephants, and that's why it's fun, right?
So the dude at the other end of the rink, right, got in the fight. Whoops.
Don't worry about it. It's just a mini helmet.
It's just a Cowboys helmet.
We'll just pass it back and forth.
So the dude at the other end of the rink has scored a goal in his career.
Ned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a couple assists.
He can move the puck with his stick.
So does he get a Gordie Howe hat trick now?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess for his career.
A career, yeah.
The career Gordie Howe, which how many goalies have that? I bet you there's a couple, right?
Well, Billy Smith. I don't know if Billy had a goal.
Patrick scored one, didn't he?
Patrick scored, so he probably has it.
He definitely has
Patrick,
all of those.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
well, then he'd have them all.
We'll have to do some research on that and see how many goalies have a career Gordie Howe. Because there's got to be a handful, I would think. All right.
Is the show almost over?
No,
Have
we're
I
going to
done
go
a
to
good
Sam.
job? No.
Sam,
Some other stuff.
Justin Ritzkovian, and illnesses. Not necessarily together, but we have a lot going on here. Give us the biggest lineup news updates you have, considering it was an optional this morning with some game time decisions.
Yeah, well, let's say I hope Justin Ritzkovian is not one of the ones that's ill, because he's going to get a good opportunity here tonight if he's not. Skated yesterday at practice with Wyatt Johnston and placeholder Nate Bastian, because Mikko Rantanen was taking the day off. Rantanen should be good to go. He said it was just a maintenance day. So if they're not sick and it doesn't mess up the lines too much with who is sick, which again, this is now the second, if not third time an illness is running through this team. I feel like NHL teams have the immune system of Sam Messler because they're just stuck in rooms for so long and hotels and travel. As soon as one person gets sick, it's almost impossible not to do it. So around this time of year, every team goes through it, but the Stars now going through it for the second time in about a month. We don't know who it is. We don't know who's out. Goldson just said they're waiting on some things, game time decisions. But as you were just mentioning, Ritzkovian should get an opportunity here tonight. Something that, I talked about a little bit earlier on that we know is not the solution long-term to give you a top line in the playoffs, but it's a better solution right now to me than what's been going on with Sam Steele and how they've been trying to push that trio, despite Glenn Goldson saying he liked the chemistry. So if everyone's healthy in the up front, we should see that trio up top, and then Bork moving back up with Robertson and Hintz on the second line, as well as Steele going back down to third and Matt Duchene centering that line. So the trouble goes on for Matt Duchene, right? He's better in the center of the ice, but they don't have the depth to give him a ton of help. He's got Sam Steele and not super offensively pushing Jamie Benn right now on his wings, but maybe they can develop some sort of chemistry there.
Nice way to put it.
Yeah. But
you put that as politely as you could.
You got lots giggling on that one.
And I think you kind of started to get into Jamie, and then you just weren't sure how you were going to exit that. But you did a good job.
Jamie has potential to do some things. He just hasn't quite shown that yet. But so super unknown. The only thing we know for sure is Jake Oettinger will start tonight. I think this is a huge game for Jake. Not just the Swayman thing. That's a story in the U.S. goaltending area, but Jake's had two good games here. He's
Sam?
looked good. The team.
I don't know if Tim Kalishaw knows something that we don't. So
We'll just
curious.
ask him. He does.
I don't know
What
if
do you
is Kalishaw there. He tweeted out, Stars need to dig out of a long losing stretch, but won't be easy tonight against the Bruins. No Mikko Rantanen, parentheses, flu makes it that much tougher. Does he know something, or is he mistaken?
That's a great question. I don't
Sam,
know.
were you hanging out with Mikko last night?
I do not know. I do not know anything about that. So if that's the case, I mean, he missed practice yesterday.
We were told it was a maintenance day yesterday, and that wasn't a
maintenance
concern.
day. So
If that's the case, then you know that.
That's a bummer, because that means Ritzkovian may be on the top line, but it's not going to look like it normally would. And that's going to move in Bastian or Ernie into the lineup somewhere, and they're going to have to move it around. So if that's the case, that is a tough loss, because as I was just about to say, the Stars are slumping, as we know, lost 10 and 12, but the last two games have been better. And the key for them right now is putting together longer stretches. They played a great first period here and then a bad second period, or a great second period and a bad third period. They have to put together 45, 50 solid minutes against a team that, just like Tampa, is rolling into the AAC very hot at 8-1-1, scoring a bunch of goals, defending really well. Swayman's playing super well. So they're going to need it tonight, and especially without Rantanen, they're going to need some other guys to step up.
What are the chances that if Mikko does not play tonight, the Stars end the game with 30-plus shots? I'm not saying that because Rantanen wouldn't be in the lineup. I'm just saying, what do you think the chances are? We'll find out. Go ahead.
That's going to be an interesting conversation. I have more on that with you later. Sam, before we let you go, and I'm going to send you a homework assignment, if you can go find out more and send us a text or report back on Rantanen. But Vladislav Kolyachonok, he's here. Saw him practice yesterday with the Boston Bruins, which is weird because he hasn't been playing. He was claimed off waivers on December the 16th by Boston, who was really depleted on the back end. But then he didn't play for the first 4 games. He played 2 games, playing less than 10 minutes each game. and he's been scratched for 10, and he just got put on waivers today. And then you and I were having an interesting conversation before the show about, as much as we'd like Dallas to reclaim him, it might not be so simple.
Yeah, well, first of all, way to go, Boston. Dallas had such an easy plan. They were going to send him down on waivers. He was going to go to the AHL where they desperately needed it, and Boston had to ruin the fun and come in and claim him. And as you mentioned, he played 2 games over that whole span of over a month. So the easy solution was immediately, wow, easy. Dallas is going to go get him. I don't think a lot of teams are chasing him, especially because he hasn't played basically since he was claimed. Dallas should get a good shot. And as long as no one above them in the standings also puts in a claim, they're able to send him directly to the AHL. So it works perfectly for everybody. However, I think Sean was the one who pointed it out. The Stars currently have a full roster of 23 players. So we don't know this for sure. This is speculation. We have not. I'll work on trying to get a direct answer on this or not. But if it's how we think it is, Dallas needs a roster spot in order to make a claim, even if they're sending him directly to the AHL, an active roster spot. So that complicates things because the only one who's waiver eligible up here is Justin Ritzkovian. And as you mentioned to me, Owen, there's a new rule where you can't do the paper transaction, put him one day, back the other day. He's got to go play at least one game there, which would take him out for, I believe, the next game at Columbus. So it's not an easy situation. And on the flip side, you don't want to risk putting someone on waivers that might get claimed, and they also haven't done it yet, which means that most likely they would have already had to put Ernie or whoever on waivers to have them clear for tomorrow so that they can get Kolyachonok. So I don't know the loophole. Mark Janko is a very smart guy. I'm going to go see if I can maybe try to find him after we do this and see. But as far as we know, the Stars are going to have to do something that we don't know about in order to claim Kolyachonok, which is really a bummer because it was a good fit. He was playing some good hockey here, and Texas really needs it. And it's a great place for him to develop. And who knows, maybe he's a future NHLer with this team. But for right now, it's a very complicated path to get him back here, which would have been really easy because he's right here behind me in the dressing room.
And one thing to add, and we don't know the answer to this, but when Leon Bischel is ready to return to the lineup, regardless of if they go after a reclaim on waivers of Kolyachonok, they will have to open up an active roster spot anyway. Could it be one of the 14 forwards? Could it be one of the 7 defensemen that are active right now? Maybe, Capobianco would clear waivers. I don't think they're thinking about sending down Petrovic, but we'll see. That's a question for another day, but as he gets closer, they're going to have to do something. So, Sam, we appreciate it. Go see what you can find out about Ranton and let us know, and we will talk to you in the postgame show.
All right, boys. Talk to you later.
All right, there he goes. Sam Nestler over at American Airlines Center. Lads, that is an interesting caveat. I mean, Tim Kalashaw is pretty well connected. He might have gotten a scoop that we didn't, or that other people in the beat didn't. And if they don't have Mikko Rantanen tonight against a Boston Bruins team that has won 6 in a row and 8-1-1 in their last 10, complicates things, doesn't it?
It does, but on the other side of the coin is, do you think that there are a lot of players on this team that when you play with Mikko, you defer and you make sure he touches the puck?
Sorry to interrupt. Dallas Stars PR. Mikko Rantanen is out tonight due to illness. All right. So there you have it. It's official.
It's game what? 46? Who cares? It's not a playoff
game.
No.
But,
okay, so my point is, with him not in the lineup, or when he's in the lineup, don't you think that there is not an emphasis, but you just feel obligated to make sure that he gets the puck on his stick because he makes so many things happen, and he's more of a distributor than he is probably a shooter from a big picture kind of thing?
I want you to put your coach hat on for a minute. Ryan, throw that forward group up from the Stars because they were looking at yesterday. Nathan Bastian was the placeholder with Ritzkovian and Johnston at practice, right? And the other 3 lines looked as they did. It's an
easy fix for me.
Do you simply put Bastian or Ernie with Johnston and Ritzkovian, or how do you reconfigure this with Mikko out of the lineup?
I move Wyatt over to the right side. I put Duchesne up on the number 1 line, put Steele back in the middle. That's what I'd do.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, Wyatt can play the right side, and Matt would be happy because he can get up there and play.
He's played with Ritzy anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would. I don't know what they're going to do. They'll. Again, I'm sure that they've known this since yesterday. Okay.
Since he didn't practice yesterday,
they knew that there was a probability or a possibility that they may be without him. Mm-hmm. And so they probably have things written down, and it's not like they're just figuring it out right now. If worst case scenario, they knew this morning.
Yep.
So they've been planning on it all day.
Okay, back to your question though. more direct play.
Well, I just think without that, without a guy like Mikko that, generates and does all these kind of things, but he's more of a passer than a shooter, I just wonder if this will be a team that conversation. This might be a fix for him in some crazy kind of way where, we don't have Mikko setting us all up. He's not going to make that unbelievable pass through the box and all this other kind of stuff that happens. And then on the other side of that, now those guys don't try to pass the puck like Mikko does. And maybe there's just going to be some more direct play. We'll find out here.
Okay, I have a graphic. I showed you some stats earlier, but I'm going to show it after the ad break. I don't want to get into that and then talk about how it affects the power play. Or maybe it doesn't because the power play has been very good lately here on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show.
What's been very good lately is the Finnish Mafia sweatshirt.
The no hoodie. Moose tonight.
The hoodie. Oh, we're down one Finn.
That's right. 3 of the 4 Mafia
they only
members.
Need one Finn to move. So, hey, you know what? It's just opportunity. Guy out gives you a little bit more opportunity. But I'll tell you what, thanks to T.O. and hooking us all up yesterday with all these. And so it's a beautiful sweatshirt. And I will say that it is fuzzy and nice and warm. And the Triple X's fit perfect. So let's pull up the Moose because we've got a sick Moose. So let's look at the Rantanen shirt. And this will be the last that we'll see of the Moose for tonight is the Mikko shirt. And then I think, Ryan, it's only right that we pull up the hats since in honor of Sam, we got to get the caddy hat up there on the top left, but we're all in love with the white hat over there on the right-hand side. So, and I almost put that DLS hat on as I was walking out the door to the rink today, and I looked at it and I went, no, it's still clean. It's the only clean hat I have left. So that one's still up in the hat rack. But there's our hats, and the Finnish Mafia is down 1. For this evening, so let's see how that all pans out.
Let's talk about YouTube Supporters Club. I'm looking at the chat right now, and you know who stands out? That SC Supporters Club badge. Our guy from our sports guy T.O., obviously Yoshi639. I can see your badge right now. I know some people like Harry maybe don't want a badge, but if you are in the chat constantly, oh, look, Stars fan 9196. Yeah, you got it too. And got the hoodie. I love it. Use the exclusive emojis in the chat. You can only have with being part of the supporters club. It's sicko level stuff. Ben loves it. It looks ridiculous because when it first came out, it was since 2025. Well, now it's 2026. So now, since 2025, doesn't look so weird anymore. So if you want to join, it's not that much. It's a very easy thing to do. T.O. gifts out monthly subscriptions to people all the time because he's very generous, not just buying us Finnish Mafia hoodies. Join up. You can stand out a little bit more in the chat. All right, lads. So one more thing from Sam. It looks like Petro is out there instead of Capobianco from the defensive side of things. So we don't have the warm-up lines yet. We're still waiting. But it looks like...
who's...
It looks like Capobianco, Ernie, and Rantanen are the scratches with Petrovic and Bastian likely in. So... You ready for some stats here?
Is Lyubushkin in?
I think so.
So what do they got? 2 righties playing together then?
Could be. Lyubushkin did play on the left a few times. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's in your third pairing.
Okay.
Unless if we really want to get conspiracy theories.
Oh, you're going to move Miro over now?
No. Oh. Did Capo get put on waivers? And we didn't know about it. Anyway, let's not get too much into the weeds there. Luds, we've been talking about shots, shot volume. We talked about scoring chances yesterday, not scoring goals. So I went and looked at some numbers today. The line of demarcation for me, or a large swath of the season, was Christmas. Beginning of the season to the holiday break, and then from Christmas to now. Now, 38 games before for the Stars, 11 since. Obviously, a much bigger sample size before, but they had a really good record. So, Ryan, if you'd put that stat graphic up, I know there's a lot here.
Oh, it's busy.
Yes, but I want you to focus on the numbers at the top, which is shooting percentage. First 38 games, the NHL ranking of first, best in the league before the break, and then 27th in the league after the break. And then you look at goals for, which is the second line, second to 27th. 5-on-5 goals for per game, from 6th to 30th. And then obviously the power play from 2nd to 30th. Those are the big numbers. What hasn't changed in the 2 sample sizes, how many shots on goal per game? Almost the same. Actually, exactly the same, just a different ranking. And then shot attempts. very similar as far as where they are at the bottom of the league. So Luds, they're probably playing the same way, but it's not going in on the power play, and it's not going in general.
Yeah, I've said this all along. I just think that a lot of this has to do with once you get past the first, 30, 25, 30 games, and the word is out. This is a very good passing team, and they can slice you up, and you have to be, your details have to be in place. And so I think what's happening now is they're finding out that if you give this team, especially on the power play, if you give this team time and space, they're going to be able to make some serious plays. And so we're seeing a lot of teams force against these guys, take away that time and space, especially the time. And I think that makes a difference. And they know that they're not a high volume shooting team. We've talked about it. And so don't give up certain areas of the ice, because they're going to try to make another pass, and then they're going to try to make another pass until they get that perfect opportunity. And I think as the season rolls along and there's more video and there's more, well, what are they doing differently? Well, they're not doing anything differently. Oh, so what's the opponent doing differently? Okay, well, they're being a little bit more aggressive on their power play, on their penalty kill. And then when we come into the zone, we make sure we're more on the interior of the ice, because we want to keep them out the outside, because they want to start on the outside. So I think it's more of a mindset or an adjustment. And Glenn Gullickson has mentioned it. He doesn't come out and say we need to start shooting the puck more, but I
think they've been asking for certain guys, especially
when you start reading between the lines and his coach speak, he's saying it. And so I think if they can get that, I think once you have to start to loosen things up, you have to start loosening the coverage up. And I think if they come out, start shooting, especially on the power play, now all of a sudden on the bench, they're going, okay, now we got to do this because they're shooting. That will open up some space in the slot area.
You want to talk about power play without Mikko, or do you want to talk about the lines that Sam just tweeted out? We'll do both.
Well, very, very shortly, just on the power play,
Yeah.
I think there's going to be more direct, just because Mikko's not going to be over there.
Do you think Duchesne goes in for that?
Well, Matt can go over there. Well, I would think he seems like the
passing
natural guy that can be over in that neighborhood there.
He's out there for 6-on-5
But how
usually.
many times have we seen Matt come off of that wall, and at least he directs pucks so that I don't think he can pass well, no question about it. He can't do the things that Mikko does with the puck. I mean,
yeah.
But Mikko has the size. That's the other thing is Mikko, the best thing that he can do is he can shield guys off. He can just turn his back and he holds them out here, and he can still make a play like that. Matt does it with his quickness and his speed. So it'll be a great opportunity for Duchesne, but I think that would be the natural, plug and play.
Would you like to hear something that you always like to hear? You were right.
About?
Check out the lines that we have. This was the what we saw in practice yesterday with Rantanen being we thought was maintenance, and Bastian was up there. Well, according to Sam, in the warm-up, Duchesne in the middle, Johnston on the right, but Sam Steele on the left. So Ritskovian got kicked down to the third line. He's going to center Oscar Beck, Jamie Benn, fourth line, Blackwell, Foxa, Bastian.
That makes sense. I mean, he can play down there, and I think Steele, again, to me, they're kind of
interchangeable.
Yeah, and so that makes sense, I think, either way. And I've always said, I think Wyatt can play on the wing anyways. Wyatt can play on both sides of the ice, and he might – I think when you're a centerman, you have so much responsibility, especially in your own zone, and especially where they've kind of tweaked systems around a little bit more. And so I think from Matt Duchesne, putting Matt back in the middle of the ice versus on the wing, there's less responsibility, but he always wants to gravitate back to the front where he's supposed to be as a centerman. So so I think for Wyatt moving over to the right, I don't think it's going to affect him at all.
Okay, Luds, I was going to spend some time talking about how good the Bruins have been lately, but because of the Mikko news, we kind of pushed that back. And I think it's important for us to focus a bit more on the Stars from something that you and I heard Glenn Gullickson say this morning about what they need to get out of this slump. Here on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show.
Yeah, you need everybody, right? You need everybody to get off. Your assistants, certainly your captain, your leadership group. We've had such a good stretch, and now we're in a bad stretch, and the only way to get out of it is together. That's what I know. It's not going to be, you can't do it in pieces. You have to have everybody pulling and everybody talking the same language, and you need the right energy. So you're leaning on your guys individually a little bit. And when I say leaning, just having some meetings and talking with guys, and in some cases bringing down the temperature and just making sure everything's staying at a good operable level.
We need everybody talking the same language. you think he's referring to the power play with everybody? Because there aren't everybody that plays on the power play. Okay. And we're having meetings with players. Do you think he's talking to the bottom six? If they have one way that they play.
He
play
did say earlier
lines.
he wanted to see, you brought this up and I asked him, remember, you said, are some of the bottom six guys starting to emulate the top six guys? And so he did ask them to play more direct.
What's happening there is that's getting them out of why they're effective players. And so I think all of that and everything that in coach speak, he needs the top guys to start playing. It's odd that you say that. You need a little bit more of the bottom players in the top guys. And I'm talking about directness. I'm talking about finishing checks.
You're talking about pulling on the work boots.
Yeah. I used, like what I did today.
I knew what you were doing.
Okay.
Lud sent us pictures in the group text of dress shoes and of steel-toed boots.
Well, yeah. So I had these really good-looking shoes that I got from China, so they weren't as expensive. Actually,
not the Italian leather?
I haven't even put them on once. They're a little too feminine for me. And then I had my boots that I used to cut trees with. And so put the work boots on, take the fancy shoes off, and that always generally pertains to the high dollar guys. And so I just think they're nibbling around the edges where they got to be a little bit harder to play against. And so all that meeting stuff he's talking about, and the guys, we're having conversations with guys. You don't generally pull in bottom six guys and say, hey, I need you to score some goals for us. We need you to get a little bit more creative. No, you tell those guys to continue to do what you're doing. So the guys that we're talking to, we need those guys to kind of start playing like you guys and then be able to use their skill. And again, you don't want to take their skill away from them, but there needs to be more chaos. And the word I want to use is needs to be more chaos in front of the opposing goaltender.
Well, then the follow-up response from Gulletson in this morning's availability that you liked was he was asked about that 1% that seems to be bleeding away from the team, and he couldn't stop talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Even the first time we played Tampa, and I don't like to go back too far, but I thought they were one of the better teams. And, you watch them from the start of the season and with all the stuff that was going on with them in Florida. And there's a reason that they've won that many games. It's a good lesson for us is they're humming at a high level. They're competing at a high level individually and as a team. And when you play people that are on or teams that are on those kind of runs, like we were earlier in the season, you can take stuff from them, and certainly we took that from them.
Here's why you use Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay with back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, and then the guys across the pond, so to speak, have taken that away from them. And all the talk is about the guys in Miami, about that team over there, right? So what does Tampa do? They come out, and I think it was this preseason when they played Florida. I think the game ended with over 300 penalty minutes in the preseason.
I believe Florida went 1 for 10 on the power play that night. No. That was in the preseason. There was a regular season game where they got
that was
at it
166 minutes.
Child's play.
But the point is what they did is they brought that back into the game. That's part of their game now. When you watch them play, and no, I'm not going to say Kucherov, but Kucherov has his moments. But everybody else on that team. There was a couple little not tilts, but there was a little pushing and shoving going on the other night. Tampa got back to the game where they're now hard to play against. They're fine that they've incorporated that in the game. So it's funny that he uses Tampa Bay because what did they give up? They gave up 20 shots to Dallas the other night, but they didn't let them get to the spots that they wanted to get to. And so when you say I really like the way Tampa. It's a message,
especially the second half of the game, from about the 9-10 minute mark of the second
period.
What
he's saying is, I wish we'd be playing a little bit more like Tampa Bay. That's what he's saying, without saying it.
Really quickly, the Bruins are on a 6-game winning streak. They're 8-1-1 in the last 10. They went from being 14th in the conference, albeit they're very congested, to now in the first wild card spot. They are still a little congested, but not quite. It's separated a little bit more. When they were 14th, they were 2 points out of a playoff spot. But this team, Luds, in their 6-game winning streak are plus 20, 27 goal score, 7 against, 2 shutouts. And what really impresses me is that it's not their special teams that's doing it. Power plays at 18% in the win streak, penalty kills 76.9. It's their play at 5-on-5 that is winning hockey games.
They've got a player in there that they know, and the guy Marco Sturm's come in there, and I think he's one of those player kind of guys, been there, done that, the kind of player that he was. And he's instilled some of the things that we're talking about right now. They're a little bit grittier and they're a little bit dirtier, and they're led by a guy like, going to be an Olympian in Charlie McAvoy. I mean, he loves playing that kind of game.
Yep.
And Pasta and those guys, they all dig
also
in.
on the Olympic team.
Yeah,
for
they
Czechia.
dig into the game. And I think they're getting to be, the Boston Bruins were always the big bad Boston Bruins,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's kind of changed in a little while. But he's trying to bring that back where they're a little bit more difficult to play against. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to push people out of the fight. And somehow that group that wasn't expected to be a playoff team,
Not even.
they're hovering around it. They're in and out of a playoff spot right
And
now.
the Stars haven't played them for a while. In fact, it was November of 2024 where they played their second time of the season a year ago. They played October and November of the 24-25 season. So it's been 14 months since they've seen.
Didn't they beat them twice last
They
year?
did.
Yeah.
Which
so
was the
they're-
first time in a while.
might be a good team for
because
them
they'd
to
had trouble with the Bruins. Think about the players that were on the roster for Boston the last time these two teams met. And Dallas beat them 7-2 here at the AAC. Brad Marchand, Trent Frederick, Charlie Coyle, Tyler Johnson, who's now retired, Justin Brazo, Johnny Beecher, Brandon Carlo, Parker Wotherspoon, Cole Cappy. I mean, a good chunk of this roster has changed over.
Yeah, but they've found replacements for those guys and just fresher guys. And so, and again, they've got a goaltender that's playing really well right now. And the other goaltender, there's a little stuff going
And
around.
you know who
that
else
guy.
they have?
Yeah, some stuff going around
Steve Spott.
there.
I saw
How's
Spotter
their power
yesterday.
play doing?
Very well. In
There you
fact,
go. Are we going to pull up the spotter? If they get a couple goals in post game?
I think you should see if Ryan can find the Spotter laser eyes for the
look at
post-game
us like
show.
we got three
He's sitting
heads
there going,
over
what are
here.
you talking? We'll talk to you later.
What you talking
Think
about,
about this.
Willis?
Luds, last year, the Bruins finished 29th in the league on power play, 15.2%. This year, 25.2. They're fifth in the league. That's a 10 percentage point jump. Spot's doing something right.
Doesn't that sound like another team we know that went the other way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last little bit.
Yeah, I think
Since
so.
Christmas or so.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, well. So, TNT HBO Max tonight is the exclusive game for us. So, it's not Victory Plus. Check them out.
That mean game time 6:15, but it doesn't start until 6:40 or something.
I
like that?
believe it's 6:38
Oh.
Central Time.
Okay.
So, not because it's the early game of the window. So, it's not 50 or whatever it is. Luds and I will be here. Sam will be at the AAC for postgame. Come check us out right on YouTube at the DLS channel right after the game tonight. For Ryan Vaughters, our producer, for Sam and Luds and me, thanks for joining us. We'll see you afterwards.
I believe that
worried.
they are going to crush these guys tonight. Ooh,
Bitches. Oh, Luds.
I'll take that.
We all silly like the mayor.